Revise my questionnaire. Today I'm going to give a short presentation about the pragmatic transfer of the Cross-to-Speech Act by Arab and Turkish English for language learners at prep school. Today I give a short presentation about pragmatic transfer of the Cross-to-Speech Act by Arab and Turkish English for language learners at prep school. Pragmatic transfer occurs when native speaker converts in the language that they are learning. They transfer their conversational rules from their L1 into their target language that they are learning. Therefore, this study is an attempt to find out whether Arab and Turkish English for language learners would transfer their requested strategies from their L1 into the English. To what extent do Arab and Turkish English for language learners transfer their requested strategies from their L1 into the English? To what extent do Turkish English for language learners transfer their requested strategies from their L1 into the English? And are there any differences between the English request strategies uttered by high and low proficiency Arab learners? All these questions will be answered at the end of this presentation.
Make it full screen. You can turn up the lights.
Background of the study. Pragmatic transfer occurs when native speaker converts in the language that they are learning. Requested expression is Arabic distance that we do in our everyday life. All over the world, people achieve this speech act in a countless way, linguistic and non-linguistic, employing different kinds of expressions, phrases, and gestures. These requested formulas are human universal, available in all countries, but expressed in different ways as far as the culture is concerned. Therefore, when elder learners engage in conversations, difficulties may arise due to the lack of the mastery of the conversational norms in the production of speech acts. Thus, elder learners should be able to express utterances considered as contextually feasible in different social contexts. Recently, linguists moved from the subverted language form to the actual use of language in different social contexts, focusing on the linguistic contents as far as the pragmatic contents, because the lack of either context may lead to the pragmatic failure. Chomsky claimed that if elder learners are aware of the linguistic forms of the target language, they will implicitly be a qualified speaker, whereas Hines in 1975 criticized Chomsky's perspective in his cognitive context approach, focusing on the capability of using the target language conveniently in different social contexts where elder learners will be a competent speaker. Therefore, this study intended to investigate whether Arab and Turkish English for language learners will transfer their requested strategies from their L1 into the English, and determine if there are any differences between the English request strategies uttered by high or low proficiency Arab learners. Statement of the problem. Realizing the speech act that is being achieved in production is relevant because it is the speech act that intends us what the speaker intends us to do. In this sense, after every expression, conversational expectations are created either explicitly or implicitly, which serve us in understanding later conversations and identifying where the conversation goes wrong. Therefore, the placing of communication and conversation is relevant or important because different speech acts may be interpreted differently or negatively by natives in the same context. Therefore, I hypothesized that Arab and Turkish English foreign language learners don't have enough pragmatic or sufficient pragmatic knowledge to express their requested strategies successfully. And I also hypothesized that there are differences between the English request strategies uttered by high or low proficiency Arab learners. Significance of the study. We know the goal of the pragmatics is to explain how the gap between the speaker meaning and meaning of the sentence is bridged. Therefore, this study builds some fissures that exist in pragmalinguistic and socio-pragmatics studies. Several studies investigated the requesting speech art and dialect Arabic in general beside different languages. This may reinforce their conception of the relationship between form, meaning, and function in context. Besides, in conversational scaffolding, teacher can use the interactional interchanges to scaffold the appropriateness of new skills so as to enhance or develop learners' understanding of the language and expectations. This because or may alert students to observe their linguistic troubles and strains. Therefore, this study functions as a reference point for other researchers interested in the field of the requesting speech art. According to the literature review, I touched upon the field of the pragmatics and I presented the most important theories within this area, such as pragmatics. Pragmatics is derived from Greek words, pragma, which means matter, thing, but actions, but also action. It is derived by Carlos Morris in 1938. It is the study of speaking. It is the study of contextual meaning. Also, it is the study of expression of relative distance. So, scholars seek positions where the speaker uses language subconsciously. And Thomas in 1993 or 83, sorry, developed two aspects of pragmatic context. Social pragmatic context, which focus on the linguistic forms such as phonology, syntax, lexis, rather than social rules. And social pragmatic knowledge or context, which focus on the knowledge of the target language, on how the speaker uses language for different purposes. Speech act theory developed by John Austin in 1962. A speech act is an act that the speaker performs when making an utterance. And Austin's work, How to Do Things with Words, he stated that we don't use language just to say statements, but we use it to make acts. Therefore, he developed or distinguished three aspects of speech acts, such as locutionary act, utterances which produce literal meaning, and illocutionary act, utterances which have social function in mind, and perilocutionary act, utterances which give an effect to do something. For example, if someone says, it's too hot. So, locutionary act that the person feels hot in this place. Illocutionary act that it is indirect request, where he asks somebody to open the window. Whereas perilocutionary act, the hearer will open the window. But Austin's student Cyril developed this theory in 1975. He stated that this theory depends on what the speaker chooses in his expression, because the speaker notion is not straightforwardly understood, and understanding of this theory is an extremely complex issue. Cross-cultural pragmatics is distinguished between the production of the native and non-native speaker and the language, and it is the most important part in the pragmatic studies. So it is the study of different expectations among different societies. So the understanding the target culture and the language of that culture plays a significant role to make successful conversation. So language is not separated. It is something like swimming that person can't swim without water. So language and culture live together instead of segregation. This post-completion test, developed by Blanqueta in 1982, to a total of 70 English foreign language learners, Arab and Turkish learners, male and female, with the age range of 1944 participated in the study. Place or setting, they were from Preparative School of Istanbul University in Turkey. The participants include three groups. The first group is the high proficiency. Arab learners contain 15 students. The second group, low proficiency Arab learners, also contains 15 students. And the last group, or third group, the Turkish learners contains 40 learners. All of them took part in DCT.
Which stands for Discourse Completion Test.
Data collection, discourse completion test, and multiple choice questionnaire were adopted in this study designed by Rose in 1994 to codify data from, to elicit data from 70 students. This questionnaire contains 8 written situations. Interview. Procedures. This current study includes 3 main procedures: discourse completion task and multiple choice questionnaire, oral interview task, and proficiency test. So discourse completion task and multiple choice questionnaire, designed by Rose 1994, were adapted to codify or elicit data from students, 70 students, and they contains 8 written situations. Oral interview tasks, after gathering data by means of DCT and MCQ, 30 students participated in interview, 15 from Arab learners and 15 from Turkish learners. Proficiency test, computer-based and paper-based. Proficiency test was used to select 15 high proficiency Arab learners and 15 low proficiency Arab learners out of 30. I use this test just to see the impact of the proficiency of the pragmatic transfer. Versions. This study contains 3 versions: Arabic version, Turkish version, and English one. Arabic version was distributed to the Arab learners before the English one, and Turkish version was distributed to before the English one, for the Turkish learners before the English one. And 60 minutes, students were given enough time to read and answer these written situations. Data analysis. Qualitative data from DCT and MCQ were analyzed using cross-cultural speech characterization patterns developed by Blanqueta in 1989, and the results were quantified to analyze descriptively. Statistical analysis. The analysis were performed using the SPSS version 14, and chi-square tests were performed on the data to investigate the pre-blue socio-pragmatic perception of contextual factors. Thus, this test alerts the researcher to know whether groups have significantly different judgments that makes it a very beneficial statistic for the survey. This study of the questionnaire, this questionnaire contains two parts: written discourse completion task and written multiple choice questionnaire. This questionnaire contains 8 written situations. We have 3 groups: Group 1, high proficiency Arab learners; Group 2, low proficiency Arab learners; and Group 3, Turkish learners. I make comparison between their L1 and L2 for Group 1. Also, I made the same thing for Group 2. And for Group 3 also, I compare between their L1 and L2. And this is the first part of my study. I compare between their L1 and L2 and if their L2 learners transfer their request strategies from their L1 to the English. And the second part, I compare between the English request strategies uttered by high or low proficiency Arab learners. So I compare between L1, G1, and Group 1 and Group 2, between their mother tongue and the target language. After that, at the end, 15 from Arab learners and 15 from Turkish learners participated in the oral discourse completion task. So both Arab and Turkish and written discourse completion tasks showed their pragmatic transfer and discourse completion tasks. I mean, in all situations. But in written MCQ, they didn't show their pragmatic transfer just in 3 situations. So if you look at these tables. This is first situation. Percentage of the Arab and Turkish. This is MCQ. So Group 1 and Group 2 and Group 3. The difference with the Group 2 and Group 3. So if you look at these strategies that I adapted in my study: conventional direct strategies, non-conventional indirect strategies, and non-conventional indirect strategies. And I consider this the last option in the MCQ as a negligence of request, because many students, when he answered, didn't give me what I want. It is not a request. I mean, his answer was not request. So for low proficiency Arab, if you look at their answer here, percentage 38.9. So let's compare it with the target language, 17.95. For the Turkish, this is the most frequent strategy, conventional index strategy, 11.11. Their target language, 64.10. Next situation. This is just with the Turkish students. Their MCQ 64.10, 52.38. So it is big difference also. So pragmatic transfer wasn't occurred in this situation. And the last situation occurred with Group 2 and Group 3. For the Arab, 55.14. And their target language, 24. For Turkish learners, 53, and their target language, 52. So it is big difference. That means they didn't show their pragmatic transfer just in these situations. Results. According to the first question, to what extent do Arab learners transfer their requested strategies from their L1 into the English? The results indicated that there were no significant differences between L1 and L2 by the Arab learners. Pragmatic transfer was observed and the hypothesis was accepted. For the second question, To what extent do Turkish learners transfer their positive strategies from their Erwan into the English? The results show that Turkish learners conveyed their knowledge from their Erwan into the target language or to the English, and there were no significant differences in their request, and the hypothesis was accepted. For the last question, are there differences between the English request strategies uttered by high and low proficiency Arab learners? Both high and low proficiency didn't greatly vary in their requests, and both groups shared relatively the same language, socialization, and the hypothesis was rejected because similarities were more than differences in this study. The present study is similar to Ayyub Lutfi. He claimed that he examined the issue of pragmatic transfer and request by Moroccan and English learner in English for language context. Also, this present study is in agreement with Anaqid Yarahmadi and Shahzad Fatih 2015. They show pragmatic transfer by Persian of the last study, similar to the second part of my study. This study is in agreement with the Fashion and Wa 2012. They showed there was no significant or proficiency of pragmatic transfer. Pedagogical applications. From the above findings, pragmatics should be taught in English curriculum in different contexts. One of the main aims to teach pragmatics to support the English for language learners to develop their ability in producing convenient expressions. Thus, teaching pragmatics do not contain only teaching of syntax and lexis, but it should be contain pragmatic linguistic and socio-pragmatic rules. Suggestions for further researchers using various data collection method, written discourse question task, and multiple choice questionnaire, role play and interview, which will present a great insight into usefulness and uselessness of each method, which will due to the enhancement of the employment of speech type studies. Further researchers could study the Arab and Turkish English for language learners at various levels so as to investigate the role of proficiency transfer. Further researchers should include other common speech types such as complaints, refusal, apology, so as to supply good realization of pragmatic transfer that might limit communication. So this brings me to the end of my presentation. I've talked about the pragmatic transfer of requested speech type by Arab and Turkish English for language learners. And this study intended to investigate whether Arab and Turkish English for language learners will transfer their requested strategies from their Erwan into their English. Therefore, I concluded that after gathering data by means DCT and MCQ of oral DCT and written oral DCT and MCQ, both Arab and Turkish English foreign language learners showed that there were no statistical significant differences between their mother tongue and the English. And also, there were no differences between the English request strategies uttered by high and low proficiency Arab learners. That means L2 learners don't have sufficient pragmatic knowledge, and the second hypothesis was rejected in my study, whereas first hypothesis was accepted. It's because L2 learners don't have sufficient knowledge or they don't have sufficient linguistic repertoire in their L2. This is a full description of my study. Thank you very much for your listening. I'm glad to answer your questions if you might have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Samira. Thank you, dear friends, guest students.
But I shortened my explanation because of the time.
I know, that was very good of you doing that. Welcome, my dear professor. If you have any comments, you can start. And you are free also after the professor's contributions. You can tell your opinions. As far as your audiences and you listen, you can have your views.
Thanks very much. I would like to thank you, first of all, as a supervisor, for supervising her, doing such a great job. It was good. I liked your presentation. I liked your attitude. I liked your management, classroom management, and as a teacher, as a future academician, you show that you will do it. Yeah. So congratulations. That's really good.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Yeah. And the other thing is about your topic. You worked on a very, very important topic, and you tried to find out certain facts. My question is related to your research questions and the findings. You said that there's no difference. You didn't find any difference between the Arab or Turkish students bringing up their own strategies up to the foreign language. Which is true because we are not training our students, foreign language learners, how to make use of those pragmatic things, you see. We're not training, we're just teaching them the foreign language. We're not doing any training on what that foreign language consists of, pragmatic-wise, what Turkish consists of. So they just bring their own habitual things to the foreign language. So we can see this in their writing mostly. It's good that you recognize some of them in oral production. In written production, we see this a lot. And being a Turkish teacher, I can understand what my foreign language learners write. I can understand because I know Turkish, I know what they mean. But if a British person reads what they have written, that person will have difficulty in understanding
that. Because he has the knowledge.
Because we're not doing so. Do you have any suggestions for future studies in the preparation of foreign language learners in this issue, so that they don't bring up their own habitual things to the language they are learning?
Yes, I mentioned that.
Do you have any suggestions, further suggestions? What should a teacher do? As a future teacher, what are you going to do?
First of all, I want to say that pragmatics doesn't contain just the linguistic form for the elder learners. So elder learners should be learning the knowledge of the target culture. This is very important. So official material, I mean English in classroom, always is teacher or English teacher focus on the linguistic form only. This is why elder learners lack or they don't control over the language that they are learning. So English material should contain pragmatic contents and linguistic contents to avoid the pragmatic failure.
So you are just throwing the ball to the authors, saying that they should prepare the books, textbooks, in accordance with what we require. But I asked you, as a future teacher, what you're going to do. Whatever book I have in my hand, if I have plans for the future for my students to prepare them, for the pragmatics of this and that and whatever, then I can add certain things to my syllabus. So what sort of things are you going to add to your syllabus in the future to prepare your learners?
You mean as a personal?
Put formality aside. Play down to her. What would you do, she said.
This depends on my personality, of course. I will make extra activities for learners to develop their knowledge about the language or target language. So what shall I do?
You should prepare some extra activities. So supplementary activities are needed. Sometimes you might need to train the teachers how to make use of the supplementary material. So you need to do teacher training and learner training in the future. That's what you need to do. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Hija. Any questions?
Yes. That's
Samira, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask you about the implications of your research for teaching. Okay, what are the implications of your research for teaching?
Implications.
You had a pedagogical implication.
Yes,
right?
I have pedagogical
Did you skip it, or-
implications. I said that one of the main aims to teach pragmatic is to support the English foreign language learners to develop their ability in producing convenient expressions. Thus, teaching pragmatics don't contain only teaching of syntax and lexis, phonology, but it should be contain a linguistic and socio-pragmatic knowledge.
You're suggesting that pragmatics should be included in the syllabus, in the curriculum, in the first finding.
Yes, this.
How can we make use of pragmatics in ELT? Okay? This has asked you, how can we make use of pragmatics, or what can be done to prepare, to make use of pragmatics? How can teachers make use of pragmatics?
So we have to develop, first of all, we have to develop the English material.
Good grammar.
That's because we like in our teaching. This is the first thing.
Samra, teaching grammar focus on form,
Yeah.
meaning, and
Function.
function or use of
Yes,
the language.
yes, yeah.
Pragmatics.
Yeah.
Okay. How can you facilitate students to be able to use grammar accurately?
This pragma-linguistics part
I
are
mean,
so tricky waters to navigate.
Okay.
Let's put it aside. Yeah, pragmatics.
My first thing.
Pragma-linguistics.
My first thing.
Okay, next question.
Okay. I have no question.
No questions?
Yeah.
No comments about that? Correct.
I just asked her what
Okay,
are the
Hija,
implications and how can teachers facilitate pragmatic use of the language in the classroom?
Okay, so we know that English context may not support the acquire of the knowledge of the target language or to meet the needs of the L2 learners to increase their ability of expressing more pragmatically convenient expressions. So I said that English material in official curriculum should be developed, and also this depends on the English teacher should present or facilitate this curriculum for the L2 learners to make it easier. But I think the concept of the catcher is very important. I can't learn or teach the English, and the L2 learners ignore or unaware of the catcher of that language. So it is very difficult. But the teachers will simplify this mission for the L2 learners.
Any further comments?
Any questions?
You don't have any comments? No contributions?
No, thank you. No.
Your audience, listeners? You want to add something?
About students?
Please say something.
Nothing.
Show that you listen. Abdullah.
Yeah, actually, first of all, thank you very much for your really hard-working job, Ms. Samira, and we really appreciate your job, actually. Yes, I would like to ask, do you think that this problem could be updated for the ELT learner in this problem, in this context?
Of course, English teachers will make their best to develop the curriculum or official material for the English.
Any kind of strategies or recommendations that can be recommended in order that we can, for example, develop as teachers to develop our ways or methodologies inside the classroom so that we can make a better performance in the future?
Yes, I mentioned that in my suggestions for the further researches. I mentioned it.
So,
Yeah.
actually, this is the main question to be asked. And
You're
thank you-
welcome.
And thank you very much again for your.
Thank you very much for your attendance.
Okay, will you please leave us with some private moments? Thank you. Yeah. I'm being video recorded, so I feel anxious now. We asked you back here again because you might be wondering what the results of such a defense presentation look like. We talked together. There were some minor mistakes about making sentence, paragraph writing, the organization of the information inside, but all related to the proficiency and grammatical points and the vocabulary, the stuff, which are usually neglected, but here we took it more seriously, and we are allowing her to pass this MA thesis writing, and congratulations.
Congratulations.
Such a great job.
Congratulations.
إن أعجبك الفيديو لا تنسى الإعجاب والاشتراك في القناة.